Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes. Ian Duncan Smith, remember him? He used to be a big thing, not so much recently, but he is sort of hanging around on the periphery of the Conservative Party. He's one of the last true Conservatives, I suppose. But he has come out and made a sort of rather provocative statement. One I kind of semi-agree with in principle, but no, it won't work in practice. But it's something that maybe should be looked at the very least. He's calling for national service. He's saying that young people should not end up on the dole. You take someone, kids and that come out of whatever level of education they finish at, and unless they're given direction in life, he says, they often mill around, get into trouble, are feckless, and basically throw away their lives in a very early part of them. He says, get them into military service, give their lives meaning and direction, give them discipline, teach them things that they can carry forward, and you may stop a lot of them from ending up as wasters, basically. Didn't use that terminology, but that's where he was going with it. Now, I think this is an excellent idea for several reasons, but I also think it won't wash, and I'll go through them very quickly. One, yes, he's right. It would take kids out of the dole. It will make them productive. It's, there is a cost in sort of training them and paying them as military people, but you're going to be paying for them sitting on the dole, and with the attendant costs involved in higher crime rates with that. So I think there's no net real cost to the nation, number one. Number two, going forward, you're going to have a whole raft of people doing their term, coming out, being disciplined, being honest, and having marketable skills. You can grow an economy from it. Number three, in my view, it would be a great deterrent for immigration. If young people coming here off those little black boats realised that they were then eligible to join the military and go abroad and fight, especially and predominantly in Muslim countries, they may not be quite so keen on coming here. Be an interesting little thing. Now, that's the pro. What's the anti? Well, one, Britain has a professional military. It's not made up of people who won't necessarily want to be in there. There's no conscription as yet, as of now. Number two, the military leaders don't really want to be a dumping ground for riffraff. They want people who are engaged and willing and wanting to become part of the military. They're easier to teach, if nothing else. And it's always nice to have compliant little minds who are willing to put the time in and become decent human beings at the back end of it. That may not necessarily be so when you're picking some urchin off the street and throwing him into uniform and putting some big shouty sergeant. And therein lies the third of the arguments against Gen Z. Now, when I was in, I had a big shouty sergeant major, and it was quite the shock. And when you are a young man and you've got some very loud, large, aggressive man this far from your face shouting all sorts of obscenities at you, well, when you're not used to it, it's quite frightening, to be honest. But then you shape up, or you ship out. You shape up, you run, you learn, you are disciplined. Next thing you know, he starts treating you, if not quite as a human being, as something on its way to becoming a human being. By the time you finish and you pass out, oh, you're all chums with them. I mean, you hate these people in basic training, but by the end of it, you respect them and you like them. It's a weird process, but for 500, 600, 700 years, it's worked. Kids today, Gen Z, would go to pieces. They'd cry. They'd be sticking their thumb in their mouth and stimming, like that. Stimming for their mothers. That's why it probably won't work. But in principle, it's fine. It's just practically ain't never going to happen. But you've got to give Ian Duncan Smith his dues. He does at least keep trying, which is more than some of them. Thanks a lot. Tell me what you think, and I'll speak to you later. Bye.